G'day mates, and welcome back to Aldrin Space Program Manager on Buzzhard difficulty. Now we've come off our, a success last episode. That bloody flies back, fuck off. Come up with a success last episode. Now, where were we? So I've had a bit of a look through here, and Project Gemini, we can continue to milk it, but of course the more things we do, and the more of these little badges we get, so the filled in badges here, give you sort of one-off prestige. The actual mission itself gives you less and less prestige as you've done more of these badges. So for example, this particular one I've clicked will give us what's that? It doesn't actually say how many prestige it is. It'll say it in the other menu. It doesn't matter. It's like 3 badges here that we can do. Now I've gone through them, and say for example you do this one, it might block off a couple of badges for that one. So you can't just add all the amounts of prestige together. It's the order you do them and various other things that matter. And so doing every single mission is not going to be cost effective unless you have unlimited funding. So I've gone through them. Let's start from, so you can have a look here. This is red, this percentage sign is red. Then so you can see the missions we've done are green and the ones we haven't done are red here. Percentage sign says that we've done all the prerequisites for it. So we've done all of them except for this final one here, which requires us to have done any form of extended duration 2 before we can do extended duration 3. So you can't just stick someone in space and then do a like a Mark Scott or a Mark Kelly, whatever the guy's name was, that astronaut, the American guy who spent like 6 months up there. You don't just go from 10 minutes to 6 months in one go. You work up to it. You make sure you understand the effects it has on the human body. So we can't quite do that one just yet. We can only do duration level 2s and so on and so forth. The thing to keep in mind though is that when you look at the 5,000 prestige here, some of that is because we haven't done duration 2, so it'll actually be deducted by 1,250 from that. So it's only going to be, what's that, 3,750 in terms of actual prestige. So it's important to keep that in mind. Now with that all in mind, I've gone through these off camera in between episodes and decided that this one here is probably going to be our most cost effective one. When I've put all the rockets in, I've chosen everything I'm going to do. It's going to be 12.7 for 10.7 prestige. That's it's nearly a 1-to-1 dollary due to prestige conversion. If I go back through these, for example, that's 19,000 for 5,000 prestige, and it's a 50-50 split if you lose it. I absolutely don't want to lose it, but it's just not cost effective in any way, shape or form. It is duration level 2 though, which is nice, but this one here will also give us duration level 2. It's less risk. This one here, similar. I did look at this one here. Docking duration level 2 would be pretty good using the Agena target vehicle. We may not even use that in the end by the looks of things. This one here is only 4,000. It's not even worth clicking the buttons. 3.5, not worth it. This one here, EVA and docking, 12.7 for just over 9,000 prestige. Pretty good, and I'll have a look at this afterwards to see how it's changed once I've done the other docking one. But unless it stays up pretty high, I don't think I'll be ending up doing that. And of course the others are just not really worth it in the end. This one here we can do now. We've got all the prerequisites for it, but it's just not as cost effective. It's pretty cost effective, but not as cost effective, and cash is our big problem right now. So all that talking aside, I have to go back in quickly so I can just refer to what I was talking about. We're going to be doing the EVA and docking duration level 2. It's going to be the first time we've actually docked 2 things together, and we are using the Agena target vehicle. Excellent. Glad I didn't waste all the R&D on that. It's going to give us, if we succeed, 10,750 prestige, which is pretty good. It'll bring us to the halfway point. A bit over the halfway point for this particular sector. It'll also mean I can probably close down this program and start making a whole lot more money, because our profit is going to plunge once in 1 or 2 more seasons, once the VAB is finished constructing. That's going to be a very expensive building to upkeep. It's going to go down to maybe 4,500 or something like that. So I think that's what we're going to go for. We're looking for 13,000 is what we're going to push for. So 2 turns, hopefully we should be able to launch on the 1st of 1968. Everybody else is going to be doing just fine. I'm going to be not spending any money on these people here, so their morale is going to start plummeting, and that could be a concern. But we'll work with that. We'll burn those bridges when we get to them. So let's move on a little bit. Okay, Gina target vehicle just being bumped up a tiny little bit at this stage. It's pretty much not even worth it, but I just need to keep that guy occupied, the scientist occupied, so that he doesn't lose morale. Direct descent module is still going up. You can see it's already lost over 1.5%, or nearly 1.5% in its total growth potential each turn, and that's just going to drop quickly. This one here is doing nicely, 15.8% for the orbiter, and that's going to get us a fair bit of prestige, 4,000 if I understand correctly, which is nothing to scoff at. Astronauts have come back, which is great. Flight controllers have finished training, which is sort of not that great because I want to keep them occupied for the time being, but I suppose having them available is useful. At this stage, you really want to be doing multiple launches per turn. I just can't afford it. I'd send off a probe and then send off a moon mission and just slowly build it up. But I just don't have the ability to do all that at the moment, so we'll see how we go. Which scientists have come back? Rocket people, EVA suit people, all rocket people and EVA suits have been training. I'm not sure where I can put you guys to actually keep you occupied. I can't afford to do this stuff. You are fully R&D'd out. I could just stick a whole bunch of you onto here, just to keep you occupied for a little while. The lunar rocket is everything we need for the time being, and it's going to be one more turn until this baby is done. How do I check that? Oh god, this game is somewhat confusing. I think that's only one more turn away from construction anyway, so next turn, which means I can spend a shit ton more money again in getting those guys onto training of some sort. You've got decent morale, so I'll just leave you, I think. It's a waste to have these guys doing nothing, but I just can't afford it. I've got no cash. At this stage of the game, you need to have a huge, big reserve of cash, because everything gets really expensive. This could be a problem. Either way, let's stick with anybody we can on. They're all maxed out. Let's check our rocket programs. You are maxed, and there's only 2 rockets, so just gonna have to end the turn. Warning, yes it is indeed. Okay, you are going up, we're down to 7.3, this is going to struggle, it's going to stagnate before we even get to 70 I think. You're doing nicely, you lost 3% though, but we're over the 50% mark, which is great. Very good. Okay, yep, down to 4.5 grand. Astronauts have graduated from basic training. Fuck, I forgot about him. What's a beautiful big building. Of course, the rocket launch pad over there. Now let's have a look at... Do I want to open... I think I do want to open this this rocket program right now, because I've got no real choice in the matter. N1 booster. The question is, can the N1 booster take it to the moon or not? Probably not, if I had to be completely serious about it, but let's just double check here. We're going to go here, we're going to go... I know I've done this in a previous thing, but it was a long time ago. Gemini direct ascent is going to require lunar orbital flight, those are there. So it's this one here, this bottom one we need to do. It's trans-lunar injection human rated. I hate that pop-up, unfortunately. We need, trans-lunar injection human rated rocket of 46,033 kilograms. So... just double check, the N1 can not do that, cannot get that huge mass on translunar injection, which is a problem. Proton K can't do it, Saturn V can, and of course this this monstrosity can as well. I do love this rocket. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of over-engineering, and just, it's beautiful. But how much is it per turn? Maintenance cost of 1,400. Holy shit, no. And the Saturn V, oh, for fuck's sake. Oh man. The question now is, can I do one of these in... Fuck me. I don't have the cash for this. I can't... I don't know how to do this. If I open one of these, we're just going to be so poor. I still need one more turn as well before I can launch that other rocket. Oh, Jesus Christ. We need to start working on these rockets. You're 9,000 per unit, and you're going to cost me 1,400, and I've only got 21% current reliability based on prior experience. Proton K is at 51%, that's nice. And you're at 19%. You're also, I think these are exactly the same. Max of 87. You can be R&D'd slightly higher, but it's unlikely to even come that high. Both 100%, you're slightly lower. And you can lift everything I want to lift though. So maybe I will do the Saturn V. Maybe we're going to move away from the Russian rockets here. Just because in the end... Yeah, we've used Russian rockets all the way. This Proton KD is looking nice, but it just doesn't fill a niche that I need. Saturn. If I develop this one, Saturn booster here, it's human rated. Is it enough just to test it in low Earth orbit before I even do lunar injection? Possibly not. I think I'm going to have to go for one of the big guns, and it's going to have to be the Saturn V. So I'm going to work on a Saturn V now. It's... Oh my god, I can't do that. Fuck me. Okay, we're going to wait one more turn. And then we're going to launch the Project Gemini. We're going to launch this baby here just to milk out the prestige, because we need the prestige. Then what we can do... Is this cost effective? Like, if I spend that money... Let me think about this. If I spend that money... This may or may not be interesting for me to do this on screen. Nobody's actually left any feedback on whether you want me to do my musings and thinking on screen. But I am going to do it now. So if I do that now, how much prestige can be had from testing this baby here? Not much. Followed by not much. And I need a shit ton. Huge rocket. It's going to take a long, long time. So I need to, by the end of 69, by the beginning of by the end of 1970, I need to have 87,000 prestige. I'm considering just putting this on hold for the time being and not actually testing it. Just keep R&Ding it for the time being. Just have it in the background, costing shit tons to maintain. But focusing instead on just launching Gemini and Luna and whatever else I can do. So I may not open that rocket just yet, which is going to be a shame. It's also a shame because I've spent a fuck ton of money to open this thing up. And I wish I hadn't done that now. Either way, we're going to wait one more turn and hopefully nobody leaves. Please don't leave, guys. Okay, you're just going to slowly R&D up. You are ticking up nicely. We'll be able to launch you probably in 2 or 3 more seasons once I get the cash for it, I think. No news this season, that's fine. We've got a fair chunk of cash now, and we're going to be launching the Gemini EVA and docking duration level 2. Now, I think we're ready for this. Assemble now. Let's get our best people on this. Mindy Milby, Michael Davis, all the other people appear to be the correct ones for the job. That's good. Now, what are best candidates? Peter Shack and Delhi Honeycutt? I can't actually read that. Let's have a look. What is his name? Del Honeycutt. Okay, Mr. Del Honeycutt and Peter Shack. You two are going to be doing big ass mission here. 12.7k Gonski. But hopefully next turn we can make it back up again. Morale 74 is not horrific. 80 is not too bad, and I take that back. Yeah, the morale 92 is the lowest for the unoccupied people, which is fine. I could be training you, but I can't afford it right now. It probably is cost effective, but I'm sort of losing my way here a little bit. I just need to see what I can do. I don't see how I can foreseeably get out of this big black hole that we're currently in. These guys, if they leave, they leave. Let's end the season. Let's launch what we've got and hope to God that it succeeds. Yeah, coming up nicely. This one here, I think it might take a couple more turns, but once we got the cash to launch this one, I think it should be ready, at least over 80%. Let's launch this mission and hope that we don't fail. All done there, and I don't like how the procedures thing there is flashing. It ended up being saved by the dude currently working that particular job. But if somebody got the procedures incorrect and they'd had a checklist malfunction and it had cost me the entire mission, I would have been mightily pissed off. But either way, we have ourselves docking with the ATV, the Agena target vehicle, not all-terrain vehicle. The docking in space, which we've never actually done. We've done a few rendezvous where we've come very close. And we've actually had guys, I think, come out and high-five in space and whatnot and then go back in their vehicles. But we've never actually docked with something. And, of course, extended duration level 2, which is very, very nice. A couple of upgrades for the Lunar, which is good because we will be using the Lunar again. And, of course, our people just doing what they do best. Another dude finished training, which is somewhat stressful because I haven't got the cash to put him back in. Okay, and of course more people have come off the Agena target vehicle because I think they were R&Ding on that one. Now let's have a quick look in managing programs here. Let's have a look at what else is going to be worth anything. 3,700, that's pretty much what I expected for relatively cheap cost, but not worth it. No, 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 no. No, no, no. Yeah, we've pretty much milked Gemini. If we had shit tons of cash, we could milk probably enough to get us up to, say, 50 grand, but it wouldn't even be worth the time, and that wouldn't be time effective, considering that astronauts and whatnot and the risk involved. So we are done with Gemini. We can close the Gemini program down. We've got 4,500 there. We're currently making, okay, so it's only 900 really in cost. So we made back up to 5.5 almost. It's expensive, it's so expensive, but if we can start saving a little bit more cash, I don't know how I can dig myself out of this hole is the problem, because I'm at 44,000, I've got no real prospects for getting good prestige in the near future. There is nothing I can do. I can open up potentially a Mars probe. In fact, that may be what I need to do. I've got no rockets that'll launch it, so I'm not going to bother with that. Let's have a look at our Lunar. Wrong thing. Manage rocket programs. Our Luna can only do 250 kilos transplanetary. And I want to be able to use the Luna if at all possible. So let's go back and have a look here. Venus probes. We can do a Mariner 5 Venus flyby. Let's keep that one in mind. We can do... Why can't it be opened? Probably because I've got to do Mars or Venus to open up the further ones, I think. But even then it can't be done because I haven't got the right probe for it. Or the right thing for it. Excuse me. Okay, I'm back. Had myself a phone call. Now, I think I was looking at probe programs. Now look at the Sun probe here. We can launch a Sun probe as well. Relatively cheap. It's going to take 5 seasons to do, which is a bit of an upkeep ongoing. But I think this one might be worthwhile. How much is it? We can do it. It's going to give us Sun probe and Deep Space probe, Pioneer. This one might be worthwhile. I think getting this one is going to be a cost-effective choice. It's only 240 per season, which I like. And I can use the Luna for it. It's going to give us 2,400 prestige. It's actually not that much, really. Doesn't matter, I suppose. Is my phone going off again? It's just a text message. We will keep on soldiering on here. Now, a Venus probe. A Venus probe. We can do a Venus flyby as well. How much is this going to be? Does it say? No, I can't open any more programs, but it doesn't say how much it's going to be. What will it give us? It'll give us Venus probe, Deep Space we'll get from the Sun, Venus flyby, structure. Yeah, it's not going to give us a huge amount, but it may be valuable just to squeeze out a little bit of extra prestige. We need to get as high as we can. Probably won't get to 87,000, but if we can get close to it, we'll be in a pretty decent position to just keep on hopefully getting those big rocket programs opened up. Now, let's have a look at our current programs. The Lunar Orbiter is going. Pioneer Sun probe. We need to get that one taken care of. You're going there. Let's get this one worked on. How difficult is it? It's 38% versus... It's actually it's easier to do than a lunar probe. I think that is a bit of a game balancing issue there. You're not the best, but you'll do for now. That'll get 13% per turn. You guys are down to 4.8%. There's going to be another 2 or 3 turns before we can do that at the bare minimum. How much is it going to cost to launch the Lunar Orbiter? It's going to cost me 4.5. That's cheap as. Yeah, I like this lunar booster. I think it is, without a doubt, the best sort of what do you call it? Mid-range booster. What do you call it? Rocket booster, like probe and stuff like that. You can do so many different things. It can take pretty much anything to the moon. That's not manned, not crewed. And can do sort of the early interplanetary probes as well as a lot of the in-orbit stuff as well. So that is really just a fantastic booster in this game. You know what? I don't actually have much time. I kept recording, so I have I've got 34 minutes on the clock at the moment. I don't recall when that phone call came in. So I think this is where we're going to leave this episode. It is not in the best position. We are struggling for cash. We're struggling for everything. That's still being developed. That one can be launched in a couple of turns. I'm just going to save money for the time being. And of course keep working on the Pioneer Sun Orbiter. Once we launch that baby, we can then open up another probe, I think. Assuming we get there in time. And start working on a Venus probe. But we may actually not get there because if it doesn't launch by the end of... what's that place called? End of 1970, then the prestige isn't going to count because we're in the last section anyway, and then we're just burning cash for the sake of it. So we'll hope for the best. We'll call it here, and I'll see you guys next time. This has been Buzz Aldrin, Space Program Manager. I'm in Blxz, and I have been struggling through this, but we're getting there on Buzzhard mode. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time.